What if I told you Jamaica, the birthplace of reggae and dancehall, might be leaving millions, maybe billions, on the table? What if I told you that while the world celebrates Jamaica's culture, they still don't have a reggae walk of fame? In Parliament, Damion Crawford stood up and delivered a powerful message. Jamaica must do more for reggae, dancehall, and the entertainment industry. And what he said deserves attention. Let's break it down.
Mr. Speaker, I want to congratulate the team for presenting a plan that seems to be fitting for Reggae Month and for a genre that has contributed so much to the Jamaican space, the Jamaican identity, and the Jamaican reality. Mr. Speaker, only an individual who loves the music in this way could have been so fulsome in her representation of what Reggae Month should include and feature going through the period that exists. However, Mr. Speaker, I still believe that we are leaving a lot on the table for what reggae, dancehall, and the Jamaica's entertainment as an industry can do for our nation. As was highlighted, many of our stalwarts are now being lost to the natural circumstances of biology. And to that extent, we should move hastily to capture some of their stories and information in documentaries, etc., so that that can be shared with our children moving forward. I have often wondered, in a time that even the pigment of your skin was resisted, how did Rastafarians endure touring in Europe and the United States in the 50s and 60s? We would love to hear those stories so that history don't repeat itself. We also feel it is time for us to have our own entertainment walk of fame. I think that these persons should be honored in their time, and a walk of fame would be able to capture many of these individuals who have contributed greatly. In our time, we are, well, you don't have to steal it, I'm giving it this time. Well, in our time, we had looked at the park in New Kingston as one of the areas that were, you are my friend, you know, he, not so much. All right, I take it, you are my friend. But we were looking at the park in New Kingston as a possible host for such a walk of fame, and the NHD, who has duty to the park, could always contribute to such a maintenance of a entertainment walk of fame. I am pleased with the continuation of the entertainment registry and its development. However, yes. And also Kingston as a creative city, 2015 December. However, there is also opportunity to expand on that. However, I feel, Minister, that there should also be an extension of the celebration of the culture at a constituency level. I believe that constituencies should have been offered the opportunity to suggest programs and to have plans so that they too could celebrate the reggae industry, not too late, on a localized level that also creates ownership of the industry. It is, and yes, there's an example of how well you did something for independence and that celebration that could have spanned the entire, and the TEF could always be called on to participate in that, because many of us here, our constituencies, have limited access to some of the events that has been highlighted in the centers of the nation and would not have had.
With the members' time for speaking having expired, we ask that he be given an extension of 5 minutes to complete his presentation.
Those in favor? Those against, the ayes have it. You may continue. Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Additionally, so yes, Mr. Speaker, we'd hope for a consideration of an expansion of impacts to the constituencies so that there could be ownership of such a global industry within the space. Also, Mr. Speaker, we ask for the revival of the entertainment ambassador program, because they have been chief influencers to traveling to Jamaica, chief influencers to consuming the tourism product, and there is an opportunity to partner with these individuals as ambassadors. We believe also it is fitting for us once again, Minister, to recognize how important dance is to the entertainment industry and to the reggae industry as a whole. And also we have seen where there has been the utilization of our creativity without much compensation to those who were the original creators. No less of than a Beyonce used dirty wine. I don't know if I can say that in Parliament. Dirty wine. Dirty. At the NFL stage, with not dirty wine, with not even a mention of those who were the chief creators of that activity. Finally, Minister, the extension of entertainment activities cannot be reserved only to the February period. As you know, is a space for which many have depended for economic existence and survival. All the round robins, etc. And it is an area of real concern to me because of the prejudice that I've seen. Large events have never been subject to the Noise Abatement Act. Never have I seen noise abatement for Sumfest. Never have I seen noise abatement for Sting. Never have I seen noise abatement for large activities. But at any given time, the police can always encounter those who are trying to start with the Noise Abatement Act. There must be a legitimate method for application and implementation of extensions. I congratulate you on starting the event zones, and we see one there out in Fort Rocky. I hope to have conversations with you about extending to community zones, and again calling upon our colleagues to make recommendation of what could be an extension zone within their own communities for evaluation from the police and others to ensure that the nuisance of entertainment don't disturb those who don't want to participate. Once again, Minister, I'm pleased of the effort that I've seen put forward here. I'm pleased of the fulsome activities that gives reggae a celebration that it deserves. And I really hope we can work together as a nation and as a parliament to take the full value of what entertainment can bring to our people and our country. Thank you very much.
Member from St. Mary Central.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Before asking the question, Minister, you can count on my support. And I think some very good amendments have been made to the, suggestions have been made to the lineup for Reggae Month. I'm very happy that Dancehall is being given some pride of place in terms of the celebration, and you managed two of the entertainers who were kind of the soundtrack to my life growing up. Don't know if I'm allowed to name them, but you can count on the support in that regard. Dancehall Week, Madam Speaker, this is something that has been close to me for some time, and I'm happy to hear that someone with the talent and resources of a Ramesh has been added. I just want to know whether the conceptualizers and the original organizers of Dancehall Week who struggled with the product, whether they will continue to be a part of it. Dave Golson comes to mind, for example, as one of the persons. In terms of the localizing of the celebration and making it relevant to constituencies and parishes, I sat down, and before the member who responded spoke, I was trying to identify a parish like St. Mary in the celebration, which has provided entertainers such as Panhead and Capleton and Yaxter and a whole Berry Salmon, a significant number. And so I want to know, Madam Speaker, the local promoters who you have indicated that you're listing, I want to know the nature of the engagement, whether we're just documenting or we'll be providing any support, and if there's a mechanism for local promoters who want to participate in Reggae Month to submit and be able to participate. Is there an official, I know you mentioned some elements of the calendar. Will you have signature parish events, for example, that we can look at and see how we become a part of it? In terms of the symposium, I want to know if these will all be in Kingston and the West, or whether they will be extended to outer parishes, because in the outer parishes we have a lot of people who make a living from entertainment but might not be the mainstream names and faces that you would know, and they could benefit from the information. So whether it is to digitize and share, or it is to have some smaller symposium in other parishes. And that is it. You spoke to the fallen pioneers, and next week you will do a tribute, and we'll be on that. Thank you.
Crawford started by congratulating the team behind Reggae Month. He acknowledged the effort. He acknowledged the planning. But then he said something critical. Jamaica is leaving a lot on the table. Reggae and dancehall are not just music genres. They are global economic engines. From Europe to the United States, from Africa to Asia, Jamaican sound shapes culture. So the real question is, are we maximizing it? Or are we just celebrating it once a year? One of the biggest proposals Crawford made was this: Jamaica needs its own entertainment walk of fame. Think about it. Jamaica has icons, legends, pioneers. But do they have a permanent national landmark honoring them? He suggested New Kingston as a possible location. Imagine tourists flying into Kingston and walking through a space that permanently honors reggae pioneers, dancehall investors, producers, sound system giants, cultural influence. That's not just culture. That's tourism. That's branding. That's economic development. Crawford made another powerful point. Many of our stalwarts are aging, and when they pass, their stories pass with them. He questioned how Rastafarians endured touring Europe and the United States in the 50s and 60s during times of extreme racial prejudice. Those stories matter. They are lessons of resilience, lessons in identity, lessons in Jamaican strength. He called for documentaries, recordings, and historical preservation. Because if they don't document their culture, someone else will tell it for them. Another key argument: why is most of the celebration centralized? Crawford suggested expanding Reggae Month activities into constituencies and parishes. Let communities have ownership. Let MPs propose localized events. Let rural Jamaica benefit economically. Because reggae did not grow from just one parish. It grew from communities across the island. This was strategic. Crawford called for the revival of the Entertainment Ambassador program. Why? Because entertainers are global influencers. When an artist tours abroad, they promote Jamaica. When they trend, they promote Jamaica. When they speak, they represent Jamaica. So why not formally partner with them as tourism and culture ambassador? That's a smart policy. Now this part got attention. Crawford highlighted how Jamaican dance moves have been used globally, including on major international stages, without credit or compensation to original creators. He referenced how the Dirty Wine move appeared on a major American stage without acknowledgement of its Jamaican roots. And this raises a serious issue. Are Jamaican creators being properly protected? Dance is intellectual property. Culture is intellectual property. If we don't protect it, others will profit from it. This might be one of the most controversial parts of his speech. Crawford argued that large established events rarely face issues with the Noise Abatement Act, but smaller or emerging promoters often face shutdowns. He questioned whether enforcement is consistent. He called for legitimate and fair methods for extension and designated event zones. Because entertainment feeds families. It creates jobs. It drives tourism. It fuels the economy. If regulation exists, it must be fair. Crawford praised the creation of event zones like Fort Rocky, but he wants more. He suggested expanding into community-based zones where entertainment can thrive without disturbing residents who don't want to participate. That's balance. That's structure. That's policy evolution. This wasn't just about music. This was about economic strategy, cultural preservation, national identity, and policy reform. Crawford's message is clear. Reggae and dancehall are not side industries. They are central pillars of Jamaica's global brand. And Parliament must treat them that way. So here is the real question for you. Should Jamaica have a Reggae Walk of Fame, expanded parish celebrations, a revived ambassador program, stronger protection for dance creators, fairer noise regulations? Is the country doing enough, or are they leaving too much on the table? One thing is clear. Reggae and dancehall built Jamaica's global cultural identity. From sound systems to stadiums, from Trench Town to the world. And now the debate is not about whether it matters. The debate is about how seriously we are treating it. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Should Parliament move faster? And what would you add to strengthen Jamaica's entertainment industry? If you care about Jamaican culture, hit like, subscribe, and share this video, because this conversation is far from over.